Chapter 2, The Promise of Youth and the Weight of Becoming, Part 3. There are seasons in life when every step forward seems to demand 2 steps worth of strength. When I began university, I believed I had already survived the hardest chapters of my life. I had overcome financial uncertainty, missed opportunities, and the disappointment of letting go of a scholarship that once felt like my greatest dream. I had learned to work with my hands, to value every engultrum I earned, and to carry hope even when circumstances gave me little reason to do so. What I did not know was that life was preparing me for a different kind of test. This one would not measure my intelligence. It would measure my heart. During my second semester, my father's health deteriorated rapidly. For months, our family had lived between hope and fear. Some days brought encouraging news, while others carried quiet reminders that his condition was becoming more serious. Every phone call from home made my heart race. When the phone rang unexpectedly, I always wondered the same thing. What has happened now? Living away from home made everything more difficult. Distance has a strange way of magnifying helplessness. I wanted to be beside my parents, to help in whatever way I could, yet I also knew that abandoning my education would not solve our problems. So I lived between 2 worlds. Physically, I was at university. Emotionally, I was always halfway home. Whenever lectures ended, I checked my phone. Whenever assignments became overwhelming, thoughts of my father quietly interrupted my concentration. I prayed often, not for wealth, not for success, only for more time. Then one ordinary day, the phone rang. I answered without concern. Within seconds, everything changed. My father had passed away. The words were spoken calmly, perhaps because they had already been repeated many times before reaching me. Perhaps because the person delivering the news had already cried enough. I don't remember much after that. I remember sitting down. I remember staring ahead without seeing anything. Voices around me faded into silence. The world continued moving, but mine had stopped. There are moments that divide life into 2 parts. Before, after. That phone call became one of those moments. My father had never been a man of many words. He believed more in action than in speeches. He rarely told us how much he loved us. He didn't have to. Love was visible in every sacrifice he made. It was there when he worked long days to support our family. It was there when he quietly gave up his own comfort so his children could continue studying. It was there in the advice he offered without expecting gratitude. Growing up, I had sometimes wished he spoke more openly. Only after losing him did I fully understand that his entire life had been his love letter to our family. Some fathers teach through conversation. Mine taught through example. Returning home for his funeral was one of the longest journeys of my life. Every familiar road carried unfamiliar pain. The mountains looked the same. The rivers still flowed. The villages remained unchanged. Only one thing was different. I was returning to a home where my father would never again welcome me. As I approached our house, people gathered quietly outside. Relatives, neighbors, friends. Their faces told me everything before anyone spoke. When I entered the house, silence surrounded me. My mother looked smaller somehow. Not physically, emotionally. She had lost the man who had shared her life for decades. Yet even through unimaginable grief, she continued receiving visitors, thanking those who had come, and holding the family together. Watching her that day taught me another definition of strength. Sometimes strength is not standing tall. Sometimes it is simply refusing to collapse because others need you. During the funeral, memories arrived one after another. I remembered following my father through the fields as a child. I remembered walking beside him on narrow mountain paths. I remembered watching him solve problems quietly, never expecting recognition. There were so many things I had planned to do for him. I wanted him to see me graduate. I wanted him to witness the life his sacrifices had made possible. I wanted to repay him somehow. Instead, I found myself saying goodbye before I had even begun. That realization hurt more than I can fully describe. One of life's greatest tragedies is that gratitude often arrives long after the opportunity to express it. Leaving home again after the funeral felt even harder than leaving the first time. The house was the same, yet it no longer felt complete. One chair remained empty, one voice was missing, one presence had become memory. As the vehicle carried me back toward university, I looked through the window, just as I had years earlier when leaving for Thimphu. This time, only my mother stood watching. She smiled through tears. I smiled back. Neither of us believed our own smiles. Returning to campus felt unreal. Students hurried between lectures. Friends discussed assignments. Clubs organized activities. Life continued exactly as it had before. Only I had changed. Grief is invisible. No one can see it unless you choose to reveal it. Most days, I attended lectures as though everything were normal. I took notes, completed assignments, participated in discussions. From the outside, I looked like every other student. Inside, I was carrying an absence that never left me. Sometimes a lecturer would mention parents. Sometimes a classmate would complain about a phone call from home. Without warning, memories would flood back. I learned that grief does not disappear. It simply learns how to walk beside you. There were evenings when I questioned whether I should continue studying. Financial pressure had increased. My family now depended even more on every future opportunity I might create. Part of me wanted to leave university and begin working immediately. Another part remembered my father's sacrifices. If I gave up now, everything he had worked for would lose part of its meaning. Whenever doubt became overwhelming, I remembered something he often demonstrated through his actions. No matter how difficult life became, he never stopped working. I decided that I would honor him the same way, by continuing. It was during this difficult period that someone quietly entered my life. There was no dramatic introduction, no romantic coincidence, no movie-like beginning. We were simply two students whose paths gradually crossed. At first, our conversations were ordinary. Classes, assignments, daily frustrations, nothing more. Yet I soon noticed something different about her. She carried herself with unusual maturity. Unlike many students, she had already experienced responsibilities beyond the classroom. Life had taught her lessons that textbooks never could. Perhaps that was why our conversations became longer. Neither of us felt the need to pretend. We spoke honestly about our struggles, our fears, our hopes. There was comfort in being understood without needing to explain everything. Sometimes the deepest connections begin not with excitement, but with recognition. She recognized the weight I carried, and I recognized hers. As our friendship grew, so did my respect for her. During stressful periods, she listened more than she spoke. She never tried to solve every problem. Instead, she reminded me that I didn't have to carry everything alone. Sometimes encouragement came through words. Other times, it came through simple silence. There were occasions when my financial situation became particularly difficult. Without making me feel embarrassed, she quietly helped whenever she could. Those gestures meant more than the money itself. They reminded me that kindness often arrives in the smallest forms. Looking back, I realized that love rarely announces itself loudly. It grows quietly through consistency, through trust, through choosing to remain when life becomes difficult. Then life surprised us once again. Before I completed my final year, we learned that we were expecting a child. The news filled me with emotions that seemed impossible to separate. Joy, fear, excitement, responsibility. I was still a university student. I had no stable career, no permanent income, no certainty about the future. Yet I was about to become a father. For several nights, sleep came slowly. I wondered whether I would be enough. Would I be able to provide? Would I repeat the sacrifices my own father had made? Would I succeed where he had hoped I would? Every question ended with the same answer. I had no choice but to try. The day my daughter was born remains one of the most unforgettable moments of my life. When I held her for the first time, the world seemed to fall completely silent. She was so small, so fragile, yet somehow she transformed me within seconds. People often say that becoming a parent changes your priorities. I discovered that it changes your identity. I was no longer living only for myself. Every decision now belonged to someone else as well. As I looked into her tiny face, I made a silent promise. No matter how difficult life becomes, I will keep moving forward. It was the same promise my own father had made, even if he had never spoken it aloud. Balancing university with fatherhood quickly became one of the greatest challenges I had ever faced. My schedule no longer belonged to me. Morning lectures, afternoon assignments, evening reading, late-night childcare, broken sleep, early mornings. Then everything repeated again. Exhaustion became normal. There were days when I attended lectures after only a few hours of sleep. There were nights when assignments waited while I cared for my daughter. Time became my most precious resource. Yet strangely, becoming a father also made me more determined. Every examination suddenly mattered more. Every assignment carried greater purpose. I was no longer studying simply to earn a degree. I was building a future for someone who depended entirely on me. During this period, my wife's family became an invaluable source of support. Whenever academic deadlines and family responsibilities collided, they stepped forward without hesitation. They cared for our daughter when we needed help. They offered encouragement when we felt overwhelmed. They treated me not as an outsider, but as part of their family. Their generosity reminded me that success is never achieved alone. Behind every graduate often stands an entire community of people whose names never appear on the certificate. Financial hardship, however, remained constant. Government scholarships covered essential academic expenses, but daily life demanded far more. To support my family, I continued accepting construction work whenever opportunities arose. Most Sundays became workdays. While many classmates rested or enjoyed recreational activities, I reported to construction sites. Carrying cement, moving bricks, mixing concrete, transporting materials. The work was physically demanding. By Monday morning, my body often ached before lectures had even begun. Sometimes I arrived on campus with hands rough from labor and clothes still carrying traces of dust despite careful washing. A few classmates wondered why I looked so tired. Very few understood. I never felt ashamed of that work. If anything, it reminded me where I had come from. Education had expanded my mind. Manual labor kept me humble. Both were shaping me into the person I was becoming. Looking back now, I realize those university years taught me lessons no curriculum could ever include. I learned that resilience is not built during easy seasons. It is built when life demands more than you believe you can give. I learned that grief and hope can exist in the same heart, that responsibility can become a source of strength rather than limitation, that love is measured less by grand declarations than by quiet acts of presence. Most importantly, I learned that success is never an individual achievement. Every milestone I reached carried the fingerprints of countless others. My parents, whose sacrifices created possibilities they themselves never experienced. My siblings, who welcomed me into their small home without complaint. My wife, who walked beside me through uncertainty instead of waiting for certainty to arrive. Her family, whose kindness gave us stability during our most difficult days. My daughter, whose existence transformed exhaustion into purpose. Each of them became part of my education. Each of them became part of my story. When people see a graduation photograph, they usually notice the person wearing the gown. What they cannot see are the years of sacrifice stitched into every thread. They cannot see the blisters earned digging holes beneath the summer sun. They cannot see the tears hidden behind the excuse of a running nose. They cannot see the sleepless nights spent balancing textbooks beside a sleeping child. They cannot see the empty chair left behind after a father's passing. But I see them. Every achievement I have ever celebrated belongs as much to those moments as it does to me. If my childhood taught me the value of hope, and my youth taught me the value of perseverance, then university taught me the value of purpose. Life had taken away dreams I thought I could never replace. It had asked me to say goodbye before I was ready. It had placed responsibilities on my shoulders long before I felt prepared to carry them. Yet through every disappointment, every loss, and every sacrifice, it also revealed something extraordinary. Human beings are capable of enduring far more than they imagine, not because they are fearless, but because love gives them reasons to continue. Today, when I reflect on those years, I no longer measure them by the scholarships I missed, the money I lacked, or the hardships I endured. I measure them by the person they shaped. The young man who once left a small village searching for opportunity returned from those years carrying something far greater than a university degree. He carried resilience forged by hardship, compassion deepened by loss, humility earned through labor, and a quiet conviction that no obstacle is final unless we choose to stop walking. That became the true promise of my youth. Not that life would become easier, but that, regardless of how uncertain the road ahead might be, I had learned how to keep moving forward, one determined step at a time.